On today's episode of AMA Podcast, myself and Milos, we had Carlos Thomas Jr. on. He's going to be a force this year, I'll tell you that, with the shape he's got, the muscularity he's packing, his height. But we caught up with him, talked about a little about his training, some of the obstacles he's had. Of course, because every bodybuilder has obstacles. Many of us don't think that they do, are the top guys, but they do. They learn to overcome them. They learn to push forward. But great episode. Some good laughs, some good stories. Check it out.
What are your expectations going into the show? I mean, you have some tough competitions, but I don't know if you are open enough and you have filters or not. If you're off the cameras, what would you say?
Honestly, and I just did a video for my YouTube channel, and at the end of it, I said something, and I'm gonna say something similar. Is I'm a man just like the Bovie, like everyone else on this stage. Like we all work hard, we all professionals, and we all put the work in. So I'm not gonna roll over, belly up, and throw my hands in the air as if the show was already written. I can't do that. It'd be a disservice to me. It'd be a disservice to everyone pouring into me, into being an athlete, a professional athlete. So with that being said, I'm coming in because I know that I can do damage, and I know that I could serve notice on the show. I gratefully got accepted to the Arnold. I know you have to be a show winner. I haven't won a show, so like I know this. I know that it's an honor to be on the stage, and I want to put on a show for the fans, and to stake my claim as, hey, like this guy could be one of the top guys for the rest of his career. I think I have shots that match up with a lot of people. I mean, obviously we know the back needs to come up, but I'm aware that's 2 shots. And honestly, for me, it's the back. I would say probably the back double, which would be the one that I think needs the most work. I think my back lat spread, I have good width, I have good detail. I think that is contending with most people. From the sides, I mean, like my hamstrings from the side leg and my chest and shoulders thickness, I think I can contend. And this is, with my conditioning being where it needs to be. And from the front double, we just saw that, I have great shape, good arms, good chest, good legs. So I think that, I could really contend with these guys. I do. I believe it with all my heart, and I have to.
I agree. We were just talking about you before the podcast, being like, your shape, your structure, your size. It's lethal. It really is. With good condition and good presentation, I think can be way up there for sure.
But if we're talking goals here, I want to, my goal to be is top 5.
I think that's very reasonable.
You can pull out the lats out wide.
Yeah.
But you have a trouble doing a back double. Well, it doesn't pop, or what's happening?
I would say I have good upper back, good traps and rhomboids, and my terriers are coming in. But I definitely need to, that more lower lat thickness, which is coming as we're getting older, and more maturity, and I'm actually honing in on connecting with those muscles. I think for me, a lot of it was just a connection thing for a very long time, very arm dominant. And, coming from a sports background with everything is just push this way, I had very difficulty, getting that connection to the back. And hey, I'll send you some photos after this, Milos, and, you can give me some critiques and let me know what you think.
I would love to. But you have a double mirror. Can you see yourself posing? You have it.
Yes.
When you lift your arms, can you flex, relax, just lats only? This is the practice I like to do with the guys. Okay. Raise your arms and now flex and then relax. So when you see that distinctive difference and then you get that feeling, you're going to be able to pop them out and get to detail. I talk about this from old school podcast. I really do not think that bodybuilders nowadays are posing enough. It has nothing to do with, here we go. Back in the 90s, you guys did back in 70s, Robbie Robinson was hitting 200 times each pose, right? And that's how he passed it in the 80s and the 90s. We were doing it. Hidetari Yamagishi, I remember when he came in, we were training twice a day. We were spending 30 to 45 minutes after each training session just on posing. And he continued this 1 hour of posing. I mentioned literally like this, football players play football, basketballs play basketball, bodybuilders should pose because that's your sport on the stage. Somehow the training is taken very seriously, but posing is not. And I do think that whoever creates that crazy illusion, and every muscle can be controlled, like I said, and popped and demonstrated to the audience and judges. Woo! So I just hope that you do have that mandatory 20, 30 minutes posing a day.
Yes. Yeah. Right now I'm posing 30 minutes every day. I typically pose after cardio. And then I do some extra posing after workouts about 4 times a week, but then I'll increase that to 5 times and then 6 times because I train about 6 days a week. So I as the show goes on, as we get close to the show, I'll be posing twice a day, 30 minutes or an hour a day.
Did you guys ever try posing like before cardio in the morning or like before training and get really pissed off at your physique? You look at, you're like, God, fat ass. That's it. I'm going to get in the cardio. I'm going to kill it. Because I used to do it all the time. Because I didn't want to look at myself when I looked too good. I wanted to get into the gym fasted, flat, and I get in the mirror and I'm like, you fat piece of shit. That's it. And I get on the stepper and I jack it up and then I push that fatigue. Because I remember I used to always do that to myself where like I didn't want to train that day. I was really tired. I go in, I start posing in front of the mirror in bad lighting before a back day. I'm like, okay, now I'm pissed off. Now let's go train back.
I've never posed before training, always after or after cardio. But I might try that out. I might give myself a little psychological boost.
You're tired before cardio and you like do a couple glute shots. You're like, that's it. Go to the stepper, I'm gonna kill it.
Squeezing my glutes every step. Yeah.
What did you change for back training? So like, obviously Milos and I both are not genetically gifted in back. I've been able to bring my back up quite a bit from the get-go, but I remember the same thing. I had a judge one time tell me, Chris, you got third because you're a phenomenal bodybuilder from all these front shots and side shots, and then you turn around and it's like you don't even train back. I was so offended. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, dude, I can deadlift like 485 for like 20 reps. And he goes, I don't care because it doesn't look like it. And I'm like, damn it. So I went back, started doing like Nautilus machines and stuff and like other things where I can actually feel my back. But what steps have you taken, or if you have taken differently this year for your back than you have the previous year?
So for me, I started splitting it up because I wanted to really focus on, like, all right, this is the days where I do my rows and give all my effort to that. And these are the days where I do like my pulls and give all my effort to that, because mentally, sometimes like I know for myself, I can get mentally spent and I feel like it takes away from the session. So, so when I do like Tuesdays, the day where I do back and it's mostly rows with 2 pull movements, and like pull down movements. And that's like the day where I'm like, okay, like I'm going to go all in. I'm doing my heavy barbell rows, my dumbbell rows, and I do some pull downs. But then my Saturday is where I do mostly pull downs with 2 rows, but those rows are more cable based, squeezing, really connecting with the muscle, really trying to really feel it. And then the same thing with the pull downs is I'm squeezing, I'm stretching. So that's where I've changed a lot the past, say like 5 months. And I've seen some growth from that, even growing into the prep. I feel like, I've seen a lot of changes, and honestly, I like to take from people who have, improved their back. So I've been watching Samson's training and I'm like, okay, what did he do for his training? Okay, he's doing that. He's doing these pull downs here. Okay, he's doing a superset. You know what? Let me emulate that and see if I can feel it the same way. Because I know he made tremendous growth in the past few years. And obviously there's other factors that play a part into it, his nutrition and everything as such. But the training, so I like to see and I like to pick and choose and see if that works for me. Because if it does, great. But if it doesn't, I don't use it. But I would say that's what's changed in the past, like I would say 5 months, where I've seen a lot of changes in my back.
It's all about that connection. It's so frustrating when you're training back and say you are progressively adding weight to whatever exercise you're doing and you're getting a good pump, you're getting good connection, and then you get to like a heavier load and that connection just goes away. And you're like, damn it, my shoulders, my arms are kicking in, and then, all right, then you go back down in weight and then you try to adjust again. But people who have crazy good backs and have good connection will never understand. They'll never understand the struggle. Yeah. The struggle, it's hard. It's hard to learn to pull with your back, Yeah.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, suggest straps, but I think straps for me, gives me a false comfort of like going heavier. So I took the straps away and I just use my fingers as hooks, So now I don't focus on, I'll put them on for maybe one set, but now I don't focus on like, okay, like the load, you know, like the straps are allowing me to lift heavier. Now I'm like, whatever I can hold with this like hook grip, then that's what it is. But I have to have that connection to the back. Like I have with my legs, like I have with my biceps, like I have with my chest and my shoulders. Because before I wasn't getting pumps or, you know, or like feeling that stretch and contraction. But now I leave the workout, I'm like, man, I'm pumped. You know, I get a good pump and I get a good, and then like, I feel like I've actually worked it out. And that's something like I would say for years, I never really had.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're feeling.
Okay, I'll throw something in here. Do you ever go for a stretch pain, like to get yourself in a fully stretched position and really focus on pain right there in the lats? Like you can do this, you can just hang and squeeze the lats, or you can do the pull over and go all the way back and focus on a complete stretch and then feel muscle pain in a stretch position.
Yeah. Okay.
I think this is, you know, phenomenal cue to do for the lats, because everything is about elongate maximally and then shorten maximally, right? So I think a lot of people do squeeze in that peak contraction, you know, but I don't think that everybody is elongating and then especially doing over the board, like stretch pain. That's what I call it. I do it for many other things. The other day I was showing, you know, there was Sergio Oliva, he was doing chest, and it's like, you know, stay there in that stretch position a little bit, you know, bring the pain in. And then once you feel it, try to intensify it, you know, so with each rep, you know, focus on that stretch pain. And for lats, I think that would be magic.
Thanks for watching this clip from the IFBBAMA podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please like and subscribe. We'd love to post more episodes on YouTube, but unfortunately, some are not YouTube friendly. For those who want to support the channel, please check out the full episode through the link provided. We appreciate all your guys' support.